We have some major breaking news as it has been announced that Red Bull will sponsor both Shane Van Gisbergen and Connor Zilisch in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at the Chicago Street Course. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to the video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive and major breaking news this morning as it has been announced and confirmed that both Connor Zilisch and Shane Van Gisbergen will be sponsored by Red Bull in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at the Chicago Street Course. Here's what Junior Motorsports said in a statement earlier today. We're adding a little friendly competition to Chi-Town. The number 9 of Shane Van Gisbergen and the number 88 of Connor Zilisch will go head-to-head and co-branded WeatherTech and Red Bull Chevrolets at the Chicago Street Course. Shane Van Gisbergen, this is going to be the first, I believe, of 3 or 4 schedule starts in the NASCAR Xfinity Series this year. He was originally going to run the race at Mexico City in the number 9 car, but Daniel Suarez took that race because of Quaker State sponsorship, and we all know Daniel Suarez was able to go out there and pick up the win in a victory in the number 9, which is a backup car that was an all matte black car, which looked really, really good. This will be the first of, like I said, 4 scheduled starts for Shane Van Gisbergen this season. He is going to run a few other races at the end of the year. He is also, of course, going to run the Xfinity Series race at Sonoma, and he's also going to run the Xfinity Series race at Watkins Glen as well. We know Shane Van Gisbergen when it comes to racing at road courses. We know he's one of the favorites every time we go there. And, of course, we all remember that he won the NASCAR Cup Series race at Mexico City a couple weeks ago. And coming into this race with the number 9 car, he is going to be one of the favorites to win because he is the defending winner of the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at that track. But then also you've got Connor Zilisch, who also is running this weekend at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the NASCAR Cup Series in the number 87 Chevrolet with Red Bull sponsorship. And I think these are 2 of the best road course racers that we have currently at the moment. And I think both these guys are going to do a really, really good job. Let's start with Shane Van Gisbergen. Like I said, Shane Van Gisbergen is one of the best road course races that I think I've ever seen. He has won 5 races across the board in NASCAR Cup, in Xfinity, 3 wins in the Xfinity Series last year, one of them being the Chicago Street Course, but he also won 2 other races in 2024. He won the race at Portland, which was his first career NASCAR Xfinity Series win. And then he went on to win the week or 2 weeks after that at Sonoma Raceway in really dominating fashion. Sure, Austin Hill put up a really good fight against him, but Shane Van Gisbergen was able to win. He also, of course, has won 2 NASCAR Cup Series races, albeit on road courses also. He won in his first ever start in NASCAR Cup competition at the Chicago Street Course in the Project 91 Chevrolet, and he was extremely wasn't dominant, but he moved up to the field, and once we got to the end of the event, he shined, he thrived, and he did really, really good. And then he got his first ever win as a full-time driver in the NASCAR Cup Series earlier this year at Mexico City. He had Ty Gibbs really close to him throughout the day, but once he got out front, he pulled out to a massive lead and won the race by 16.5 seconds, which is the largest margin of victory for a NASCAR Cup Series race since when Kurt Busch won the race at Texas in 2009. And we got to remember that was a fuel mileage race. Shane Van Gisbergen straight up pulled away from the field and did it in dominating fashion. Meanwhile, you've got Connor Zilisch, who is also a fantastic road course racer. Connor Zilisch has picked up 2 wins in the Xfinity Series on road courses, but he also, unlike Shane Van Gisbergen, does have a win on an oval, albeit it's kind of like a triangle, but it's still technically an oval. He won the race most recently in the Xfinity Series at Pocono in pretty good fashion as well. He had one of the fastest cars in the field, and once Justin Allgaier and Chase Elliott were up there and made mistakes up there, those 2 guys that really were Connor Zilisch's biggest threats all day, when they both had mistakes and issues at the end, when Justin Allgaier made a mistake overshooting the corner, we were able to see Connor Zilisch get by and take the race lead. And now you've got 2 guys going to be going against each other. So what are my expectations for the race at Chicago? Well, I think both these guys are going to deliver. I think both are going to be the favorites going into the Xfinity Series event. There's been rumors, of course, that we could see Brock Feeney. If Brock Feeney does run the Xfinity Series event, ooh, you got to watch out for that. But we also don't know for sure if Connor is going to run Chicago. We know he's going to run in the Cup Series. We know he's going to run the race at Watkins Glen. That's been confirmed. But we don't know if he's going to run Chicago. If I was Trackhouse Racing, I honestly feel the card for Connor Zilisch at Chicago because we know he's a really good road course racer. And I think if you put Connor at Chicago, he'll be a big factor because Trackhouse Racing historically has been very, very good at Chicago. Really fast last year with Shane Van Gisbergen because they prepared the number 16 car, not getting taken out by Chase Briscoe, who won the most recent Cup race at Pocono, and Kyle Larson making mistakes too. I do think that Shane Van Gisbergen would have won that race. He had the fastest car in the field in practice and was really, really strong in the event. He'll also be looking to win both races on the same weekend. Be the first, if Shane Van Gisbergen is able to win both races, it'll be the first time he's won both races in a single weekend. weekend because he's never done this before where he's competed in two of the, well, that's not true. He's competing in both races, but he's not been able to sweep the weekend. If he's able to win both the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series races at Chicago, it'll be the first time for Shane Van Gisbergen that he's been able to accomplish it. And I think you have to look at these two head-to-head. And obviously, these guys could be teammates in the NASCAR Cup Series next year. There has been a lot of talk and speculation going into 2026 that Connor Zilisch could be a rookie in the Cup Series full-time. I think winning that race at Pocono is really going to start those conversations once again. There's also a lot of talk that Daniel Suarez may not be back with Trackhouse Racing next year. There's also a chance that we may see a swap. One of my theories is that we could see a potential swap where maybe Daniel Suarez takes over the 88 car next year in the Xfinity Series, where I think would be really, really good and would be a championship threat in Xfinity Series right away, while Connor Zilisch moves up and gets a lot of experience. But there's also a chance that things kind of stay the same right now, where Trackhouse does keep the same lineup and nothing changes on that front. But if Daniel Suarez does not step up to the plate and get better, and Connor continues to get better, I don't know if Suarez will have a chance to stay at Trackhouse Racing. It would be disappointing for Daniel Suarez because I think Suarez has had some good runs this year, but he's also had a lot of bad luck. I don't think there's any denying and questioning that. But also, when I think of when I think of Zilisch, there's so much up and up with Zilisch right now, and he's only getting better, and he's progressively getting better. If he goes out and wins the Cup Series race at Atlanta Motor Speedway this weekend, I think that's going to be really, really interesting. But I think it's really exciting to see that Red Bull is going to sponsor both Shane Van Gisbergen and Connor Zilisch, and it has to tell me that we're going to see more of the Red Bull sponsorship in NASCAR going forward. There, of course, Red Bull, this is another event that they've added to their schedule. I don't think this was originally on the plans for the Red Bull team, for Trackhouse to have Red Bull there, so I have to think that Red Bull, because they're seeing success of both Shane Van Gisbergen and Connor Zilisch at this moment, I think they're going to up their sponsorship going forward, and I think you're going to see both these guys getting more of that Red Bull sponsorship going forward into the future. Nonetheless, I think it's really exciting to see that Red Bull and WeatherTech are going to sponsor both Connor Zilisch and Shane Van Gisbergen in the NASCAR Xfinity Series event at Chicago. I think they're both going to be really good. I think they're going to both be really, really good threats to pick up the win in victory. I think it's going to be nice to see these cars out there. They both look really good. I love the match. Sometimes the match of the cars don't look really good, but I think both these cars actually look really, really solid. And nonetheless, I think it's exciting to see that Shane Van Gisbergen and Connor Zilisch will get the opportunity and chance to compete against each other, and I think both will do a really awesome and really good job in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Chicago. Really excited and looking forward to this event next weekend. So, that is good for today's special breaking news report on Red Bull and WeatherTech sponsoring Shane Van Gisbergen and Connor Zilisch in the Xfinity Series race at Chicago. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What's your thoughts on this matchup? Do you think both these guys are going to be competing for the win? And if so, which of these two drivers goes to victory lane in the Xfinity Series race at Chicago? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If there's any other major news that breaks later today, we'll discuss it live on the channel. There also should be the Xfinity Series race picks dropping later today for Atlanta as well. Tomorrow we're going to have Cup Series race picks for the Quaker State 400. We're also going to have the paint scheme video for the Quaker State 400 as well. Then on Friday we should have a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. We're also going to have the Xfinity Series race review from Atlanta Motor Speedway as well, which I'm not sure that race is going to be that exciting. And then of course we should have Cup qualifying reactions as well, as that is also going to be on Friday. We got content coming out, people at Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Carlos Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bob Wallace, Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, Trackhouse Junior Motorsports, Connor Zilisch, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, Cletus McFarland, Kyle Larson, Ryan Preece, Brad Keselowski, other people like stuff like the lawsuit, 2011 front row, Michael Jordan, all that good stuff. We'll be talking about all that great stuff on the channel in the coming days and weeks, along with Cam Waters, Brock Feeney, and Will Brown. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.